Okay. Good evening to everybody. Ajit Kumar, please mute. No. Okay. Today we'll have to complete the block 4, and in this unit, 12 unit, we'll have to discuss the meaning and relevance of communication in educational management. So definitely we must have to know that what is communication. You all know that communication is a process, and communication word itself comes from the Latin word that is communicare, which means to share. So definitely communication is a process where we can share or exchange the information in the different methods, or several methods we can use to communicate our ideas, thoughts and feelings to others. So we can exchange the idea with a particular individual, or we can communicate our ideas in a collective process. So definitely communication is nothing but transmission or sharing the ideas, facts and information. So it is the integral part of our daily life. Each and every day we are communicating our ideas to others. Always we are talking with our friends, relatives, and we are communicating our ideas. So definitely when we are concerned with the education, then definitely we must have to communicate our thoughts and feelings to our students very perfectly so that they can able to understand. But in this unit, we'll have to describe the communication, its concept and process, identify the different dimensions, and also we can also elaborate the different types of the communication. So definitely we will have to discuss some of the meaning of the communication. So communication is transferring a message containing information. When we are transferring a message, that message will must have to contain an information, which information will be received by the sender. The sender will send the information, and automatically the receiver will also accept it. According to Glenn and Smith, communication as a dynamic process that individuals use to exchange ideas, relate experiences, and share desires through speaking, writing, and gesture. Gesture is nothing but the sign language. So if you will something, then another is to listen. If you will write something, another will see. If you will show some signs, then another is able to understand what I am going to say. So another meaning is communication as the functions of persuading, informing, teaching, and entertaining the people. That always we are trying our best to get the information because we want to know something. So in around us, there are so many things are going to be happen. We must have to know it. And this may be treated as information. So in teaching and learning, when we are teaching a particular subject, then definitely we will have to teach the content of the subject. And we must have to transmit the knowledge and information adopting certain methods of teaching so that communication will be the better. When we will discuss the another meaning, then definitely according to Rogers, communication is a process by which people create and share information within one another, and they must have a common understanding. Suppose when we'll share something, we'll have to create the idea, and there will be a common understanding among ourselves that when I am going to teach you, if you are not interested to listen, then definitely there will be no exchange of ideas. There will be no question of exchange of thoughts and feelings. So definitely the common understanding should be there. But there are certain functions of the communication. We can say that communication serves various functions. One is information. That when we are collecting the information through learning, we are acquiring so many experiences, feelings, thoughts, and attitude. These are stored in our brain. We are having the storage in our mind. And whenever we'll get the opportunity, we can disseminate it. We can also show to the others, and it can go to the other people. Your knowledge will be utilized. If you will exchange one coin with your friend, then you will get only one coin. But if you will exchange the knowledge and information, then you can get the better knowledge and information from that person. So another function is socialization. You know the socialization? Socialization means we are living in the society. We are having our friends, relatives, and colleagues. Even if when the students are there, they are also coming from the society. So they are the active members. And actively, we must have to give an information regarding their own society. How they can able to develop the social virtues among themselves. Because social virtues makes one socialize. Another is motivation. Why we say that the communication motivates us? That there are so many individuals, those who are staying in the society. They are playing the different roles. Why they are playing the different roles? Because they are motivated differently. Because what type of the knowledge and information they got, they can build their own nature. They can able to train their own mind. So then they can play the role which he desires to play. Then automatically in the community, in the society, we are going to perform the different tasks. So all taxes are just like the different type of the plays what we will have to perform. Then automatically the communication makes us efficient to perform the task which the society assigned to us. Another is education. That in the educational institutions, when we are coming in contact with the children or the students, they are there only to develop their intellectual capability. We want the intellectual development of the students inside the classroom and also the outside the classroom, which can develop the personality of the children. So definitely we must have to teach certain skills and we must have to develop certain attitudes. After that, they can be the productive member of the society. So if the quality of the education will not be maintained, if there will be no communication between the society and its member, then the demands of the society we cannot able to understand. So definitely education disseminate the information which enhance the intellectual capabilities of the individual. Another function is entertainment. Sometimes we are laughing, sometimes we are dancing, sometimes we are also playing with our friends. That when we are living in the society, at that time we give emphasis on entertainment and recreation. Entertainment and recreation are very important means through which we can make the society healthy. Because you know that when we are playing with our mates, then automatically we will develop the relationship with them. When we are playing a drama, when we are singing songs, when we are dancing, when we are using the musical instruments, then definitely it is to be called the entertainment program. But still then we'll communicate so many ideas and thoughts to the public through the entertainment. Suppose dance shows our culture, drama gives us the moral training, music gives us pleasure, sports develops the physical capacity of ourselves. So definitely through different activities in terms of dance, drama, music and sports, we can able to provide entertainment to the people. And also we can able to develop the personality of themselves. Let us come to discuss the different dimensions of the communication. That communication is going on a process and details we will have to discuss later in another unit. There should be an encoder. You know that encoder means we can convert the data, what is the information we have, to the decoder. Decoder is also there to convert the data in terms of the signal, code word. So definitely it will be a transmission of the information because the message is nothing but the content and it can be communicated to the others. But there should be a channel. Channel is nothing by which medium we are expressing or transmitting the information. But all the informations are going to reach the receiver or not. That is the target group. So in this process, then definitely we must have to accept the pragmatic aspect. That is the impact of the message should have on the receiver who is receiving it. And sometimes when the message is received by the receiver, it will also send by any means to the sender. The sender will get the feedback, but actually message what he has sent to the receiver, it is also decoded and it is also again sent in the form of the another. So in the educational institutions, we must have to know that the society more or less deliberately established the schools and colleges. The teachers are there in the institution. We say that they are the sources, but curriculum is there. Curriculum is always related to the content. After getting the knowledge from the curriculum, we can develop our skill. And skill is always related to our activities. And which activities are learned. Suppose when we will get some sort of the information, we can understand it and we can practice it by ourselves. Then automatically our skills will be developed. And when we can develop our skill, getting the information or getting the training, then automatically it gives us the inspiration to develop our personality. So we can say that while teaching, the teacher must have to use the various teaching strategies. The teacher must have to use the different types of the teaching aids for better communication. Textbooks are there. Try to provide certain assignments. Audiovisual teaching aids are there also. And if the teacher can use, the communication will be the better. Then communication needs to be more effective. How we can make the communication more effective? Mere transmission of the message cannot be the end itself. If you will transmit the message, then automatically it will not be able to understood by the others, because a message cannot be considered as having been communicated unless it is understood by the receiver. Suppose I am explaining certain things If you are not in a position to receive, then you will not able to understand. So definitely the receiver must have the capacity to understand the transmitting what type of the message done by the sender. The sender must have to think the capabilities or capacities of the receivers. Otherwise, the receivers will never accept it. Then when the receiver will convey the feedback that I am going to understand everything what you are going to speak, then communication will have some effects. And we can say that communication is more effective. So always we must have to try our best that the communication should be effective. Type of communication. You know that auto communication. Auto communication is what? That you know that there is the intrapersonal communication. Inter. What is the difference between intra and inter? Intra means within myself. That when I am communicating something, whether I am going to understand it or not, that is auto communication. We must have to realize what I am going to speak. Unless you will understood it, then definitely you cannot able to explain. Similarly, communication to self is very important. That is the auto communication. Try to understand yourself first. Try to get feedback to yourself. Try to reflect your idea to the others. If you will not able to understand all these things, then you cannot reflect to the others. Another interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication is always between the two persons. That is interpersonal relationship. Suppose teacher is there and student is there. That is interpersonal relationship. When we are saying a message to my friend only, after getting the reply through email or WhatsApp message, then automatically there will be the relationship. That communication is interpersonal communication between the two persons. But when we are thinking about the group communication, then definitely you know that our classroom teaching is the group communication. The teacher is teaching a particular subject for a theorem. Then he is teaching to everybody. Some students are able to understand, some students are not able to understand. But if there will be the interpersonal communication, then immediately the problem of an individual can be solved by the teacher. So definitely in group communication, it is very difficult to satisfy all the students. But we can communicate the message to everybody. Communication within a system. Why we are saying that there is a system? Think about the schools and college. It is schools and colleges are organized. It is an organization. School is an organization. So here, whatever communication we have to give, we must have to use these circulars. What circulars? It is nothing but the order in the printed form. That when it will be circulated to everybody, the message will come to everybody, will go to everybody. Because you will find the notice board. What circular is giving on the notice board, then everybody is able to know all these things and they will act properly as per the schedule. Then another communication is known as the mass communication. Mass communication means we will have to share the message to everybody. That sharing the information, thoughts and ideas to large number of the people. And you know that the large number of people who are thinking, it is not a particular classroom. A particular age group of students will have to find. That message will go to everybody. From KG to PG. Or to all the people. And they are not homogeneous. They are heterogeneous by nature. And it will go through by print media or radio or television or YouTube, whatever it may be. Definitely certain people will accept your message and everybody will not accept. But we say that it is nothing but a mass communication. It will go to large number of the people. Your message will go to large number of the people. Meta communication. It is the secondary communication. It will give the indirect clues which can be interpreted by the others. It is not the direct information which we can send. That in the code word we can also give the information. That is not the primary communication process. Indirectly we can give certain clues which another will able to accept it. Then how we can have the better communication? You know that there are certain means. One is verbal communication. Verbal communication is used when we communicate our message verbally. That one who is receiving the message, he will have to listen and get the idea. It is with the help of dialogue. Dialogue is the form of the communication. It can be possible with the persons involved with the dialogue. Both parties will have a conversion, verbal, then automatically they can able to know. But how we can express our thoughts and feelings? Very practical thing is there through language. Which language we can communicate our thoughts very clearly? That is our mother tongue. Suppose in Odia, if you have all the Odias, then automatically we can have a better communication through our mother tongue. And you know that in the 8th schedule of the Constitution, for effective communication throughout the country, we are recognizing the 22 languages. It may be Assamese, Bengali, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Kashmir, Konkani, Malayam, Manipur, Marathi, Nepali, Odia, Punjabi, Sanskrit, Sindh, Tamil, Telugu, Urdu, Bodo, Santali, Maithili, and Dogri. That we allow to use the 22 languages for communication. So definitely verbally we can able to use our own language. And our own language, mother tongue, will also very effective. And nowadays, you know that in the school curriculum, we are also getting the books in the form of our own language. That is regional language. Engineering courses are also with the regional language. The medical science will also going to be with the mother tongue. That is the regional language. Non-verbal communication, non-verbal, where we are not in a position to use the language. Without using the words, we can use the gesture, we can use the sign language, and our facial expression will be there. And even if whenever we are seeing the different pictures, we can able to understand. It will also give some message. Suppose there are so many artists are there, and if they will have to picturize a matter, then it is better to understand. Think about your early stage, the story of the thirsty cow. The picture sequences are there. Then we can able to understand what the picture tells us. And when we are testing the personality, similarly we will have to make so many pictures, and we will have to ask the students to say what pictures says. Another is communication media. That means our traditional communication media is, you know, that television, cinema, radio, newspapers, magazine. Suppose when we are seeing the cinema in the cinema hall. Only we'll have to see and enjoy, but we cannot react, and our reactions are not to be accepted by anybody. When we are going to see the television, at that time only we'll have to see the television and listen what is going on, but our reactions will not be telecasted there. Similarly, when you are going to read the newspapers, anything is disgusting, anything is giving you some sort of the discomfort. You may tear the newspaper, it does not matter. But so many newspapers are in the market and you cannot go and tear all the newspapers. Similarly, the magazines, whatever it is published in the magazine, you cannot change it. You will have to read it. But now we are in the digital telecommunication. Only through computers, the communication is going on. We are using the internet. We are using the email. And there is also the Zoom class and Google Meet class like this program. Then automatically we are communicating our ideas and thoughts properly and smoothly. So definitely we are going to develop the communication process gradually. There is the mass media, you know, that we are appealing the mass. And here the media is that media which is specifically conceived and designed to reach the message to a large audience through nationwide. It may be the radio or maybe the television networks, a mass circulation of the newspaper. So definitely traditional broadcast media is there and digital telecommunication is also there, and mass media we are also accepting it. Because without mass media we cannot live, because always we are trying our best to get the information from the different sources. In the educational management, how the communication is very much helpful. You know that communication always raises awareness. Awareness means we will have to aware about the problems, that we must have to give the message through a concise way so that it will affect the people. As far as possible, the people will be able to understand and they will have to take the best actions and they will have to take the correct decision. During the corona, when the message is gone that lockdown is there, then automatically we will be aware about the effects of the corona, what the corona will do with us. Then we can take care of it. So similarly, a particular message is always essential to create the awareness among ourselves. We should be aware about the coming problems. Suppose there will be a cyclone, there will be a flood, there will be the lightning, then automatically we should get the information from the meteorological department and we will be conscious how to face it. So definitely another point is communication influence the opinion. What is opinion? When you will go get information that you are learning, you are acquiring certain knowledge and information from any source, the communication process is there. You want to solve the problem, but when you are going to solve the problem and when you understood the matter, then you are also interested to mobilize the others, that you want to generate the idea. Then you will take the action, that how it affects the others. Similarly, in the educational institutions, when we are influencing the others, means the stakeholders, it may be the teachers, parents, headmasters, or principals, or the students, whoever it may be. Then if some problem will be solved immediately, then it will be circulated to everybody. And everybody will also circulate the same information to others. then automatically it affects others. And it is the easiest way to create or mobilize the public opinion. Because sometimes we are using the WhatsApp and sometimes without understanding anything, just will forward the message to others, to the groups. But after forwarding, if you are interested to delete it, immediately you can delete it. But when the message is forwarded and it is going to do certain harms to the others, then why you are interested to forward the message? Here the question is that you are not in a position to understand the content of the message. Only you see the message, go through the one line or two lines, then you are going to forward the message to the other. So that is wrong. So we say that communication is always influencing the public opinion and it mobilizes the support and generate the action. And once the people will understand it properly, if it is a good message, then that message will also very much beneficial to them. But if it is the bad message, then it will never be beneficial to them. So communication is nothing but to inform. To inform means the idea. Educational institution is there. Some teachers are there, students are there. There should be the communication. There should be the dissemination of the information and the policy decision. Because policy decision is very much essential for an educational institution. And it should be circulated to the others. And you know that the information always gives the source to develop certain skills of ourselves. So the norms, the ideas, the expectations of the educational system we are going to understand very vividly. So communication is also to motivate the people. You know that motivation of the individual members in a system is very important. And communication is nothing but to foster the individual and group activity. I have given you so many examples. Because when the message will reach large number of the people, then there will be a group activities. The group will take care of it, the propagating the message. And there is a saying in Oriya, Tundo Vaida Sahaso Kosa. If we say something, then it can be reached to the other people in different ways. That is the verbal, which is not acceptable. But a written message will never be changed. And it has some sort of the validity. And it is to be considered reliable. Then how we can able to use the information for planning the educational managers? That you know that it prepares. It is very much helpful for preparing of any plan, which is very complex text for the other. That it always we are getting the information regarding the all areas. And when there will be the stock of the knowledge, then we'll have to identify the problems and detailed programs and critical analysis of the problem will be done by us. Because if you have no idea, then automatically we cannot have any type of the critical analysis. When we think that planning for the school level is essential, then definitely we should aware about the present condition and think about the past and look for the future so that your planning will be fruitful. So definitely while you are doing something, you must have to update the information on school education system and conduct regular school census, collect required information, very simple format, then automatically you can improve the school. Then there are so many indicators are there. You know that the meaning of the indicator is Suchanko. To give any type of the sign, sanket we can give. If we have the good indicators, then automatically good indicators will always helpful to solve the complexities of the institution. They are describing the difficulty of the data and also makes it very meaningful. And to make more effective, the indicators are always to be considered the powerful. Because when we will have to collect the information or the data, when we will have to analyze all the data, then definitely it will be more essential for us for the knowledge regarding the educational institution. Because you know that there are certain common indicators are there, and the common indicators which can able to reflect the management of the school. One is physical infrastructure, you know all these things. Teachers are there. Assess means enrollment is there. Assess means the educational facilities means provision of the schools. Assess is provision of the schools. Enrollment is there. Retention rate is also there. That how many people are remaining in the classroom. Then transition rates we must have to get that the measures of the probability that per unit of time we'll have to see transition rate and achievement of the students is another condition means indicator. If the school students will not do better in the examination, then it will not be to be considered as the good indicator. Then funding quality, funding equity is there, financial conditions we must have to see. So definitely there are so many indicators which are very much essential for the improvement of the educational management, but no single indicator is enough. But all the indicators are doing together and they are working together. They can provide a comprehensive idea or picture to decide how we can able to focus the attention, keeping in mind the resources of the school. So only we cannot satisfy with one indicator. All the indicators are taken into consideration. They can provide a comprehensive picture for the decision, and it will focus the attention, keeping in mind the resources of the schools. And you know that planning is very important. Input indicators are always that the availability of the schools or any other educational institution assess indicators are there. Availability of the schools in what kilometers, in what distance. Personal indicators are always giving on importance that availability of the teachers, whether that school is having the teachers. Next is enrollment indicator. And you know that enrollment indicator is always very important because sometimes the students are taking admission, but the institutions which are having the reputation, they will take admission in that institution. No reputation, they will have to go to another educational institution. So definitely we can say that input indicators always concerned with assess indicators, which are always concerned with the availability of the schools or the educational institutions in the locality. Personnel means availability of the teachers in the educational institutions. Enrollment means how the students are going that school to take admission. Another is process indicators, that if we say that communication is a process, then automatically there will be the process indicators. That is the promotional rate, the repetition rate, and dropout rate. The three important factors are there. Students flow will be there if the promotion facilities will be there, promotion rate is high, the repetition rate is low, because if a student will remain in a particular class more than 1 year or 2 years, there is the wastage. And sometimes we are saying that dropouts, that is the, we can say, we leave the school forever. If such things will happen, then definitely there will be no question of the improvement of the school. Promotion rate means we are giving always the information that suppose in class 1 40 students are enrolled and 35 students are promoted to class 2, then automatically 5 students will be the dropout. And repetition means same grade if a person will remain more than 1 year. That is the repetition. Dropout rate, you will know that if anybody will leave the school forever, then automatically there is the possibility of the stagnation. So we cannot have to get the better result. Output indicators, that we must have to know that in this stage it is essential to know how things have changed over the past focus year. Some of the common indicators can able to indicate you how your educational institutions are going up or down. The indicators are graduate rate, support number of the students in class 1 and number of the students in the graduation. If we will have to taken into consideration, then we can able to know that how our educational institutions are improving. Percentage of the first division. Then wastage and stagnation rate. Wastage means if the students will leave the school forever and they will never read. And stagnation means if a student will remain in a particular class more, the process of stagnation. So achievement gap also we are finding in the social groups. Please, 1 minute. Just 1 minute. ये अच्छा ଆସିଲେ କି ରମାକାନ୍ତ ମତେ ଟେଲିଫୋନ କରୁଥିଲେ ଆସିଲେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଦେଇଦେବୁ ଏଠି ଥୁଆ ହେଇଛି ଏଇଠି ଥୁଆ ହେଇଛି ମ୍ୟାଗାଜିନ୍ ସବୁ ଏଗୁଡ଼ା ଥୁଆ ହେଇଛି okay sorry for interruption hello yeah, here so many advantages are there that the collected data helps to identify the problems and we will get it and solve it. The real issues on the school by school basis we will have to follow, and we can also transmit the information to the educational managers, means higher, to plan out their priorities, to allocate the scarce of sources, that if you are the want of sources, then automatically you can want to improve it, then you can take the help of the government officers. So always you must have to target your resources, and if you want to have the better funding, then automatically you can able to give the proposals to the higher authority, and that will help you to improve the educational institutions. But how to enhance the communication skills for educational management. Good communication is nothing but spend more time listening than talking. You will have to listen to others and let others speaker talk. Let others will talk. Do not finish the sentence of others. Do not answer questions with questions. If you will put questions in the sake of questions, then automatically there will be no communication. And you should be aware about the biasness. Biasness means you should not be biased and automatically don't dominate the conversation. Always try to get the feedback. While getting the feedback, does not interrupt instantly. So always analyze by looking all the relevant factors and put open-ended questions. So definitely we can conclude that communication has different levels and means. It may be the intrapersonal, it may be the interpersonal, it may be the group, it may be the mass, it may be the meta communication, whatever it may be. Then we can also categorize it in verbal and non-verbal communication. But verbal communication may not be successful, but the written communication is more effective. But still then we should believe in verbal communication, and also we will have to accept the written or spoken conversation. Thank you. Completion of the unit 12. Let us go to Unit 13. Unit 13, organizational communication. In any organization, we are finding the manager or the headmaster or principal. Then definitely it has been shown that the managers spend over 60% of their working time in scheduled and unscheduled meetings with others, 25% doing desk-based work, 7% on the telephone, and 3% working around on the job. So definitely here we can say that a manager is always ready to utilize the time properly to get maximum benefit of the institution or the organization. So McBride commission appointed by the UNESCO clearly stated that communication maintains and animates life, and it is the motor and expression of social activity and civilization. That it animates our life, it makes our life better, and we will have certain motor and expressional activity that is reflected in the social activity, and also it will have better impact on the civilization. But Sprigel observed that most of the conflicts in business are not basic but are caused by misunderstood motive and ignorance of the facts. You know that most of the conflicts what we are facing in any institutions These are due to misunderstanding. These are all misunderstood motives or ignorance of facts. If there will be the proper communication between the two parties, means interested parties, then automatically it will reduce the friction and minimize the conflict, and we can better communication. So always in any organization, we must have to minimize the conflict. According to Chester and Barnard, there are 7 factors of communication which are function of objective of the authority. Means the authority will have to take into consideration the channels of communication. It should be made clear to all. Everybody should know that where and how the information or message will come to us. Every organizational member should be reached by some channel of communication. Every member should have the knowledge that the boss is sending the message or communicate the message through a particular channel. It should be very direct. If the communication will be the direct, then it will be very much have the greater impact. There should no blockage in the channel, and it should be the formal communication. It should not be through by media, and if it will from the by media, then automatically we will have to face the problem. The communicator should be highly skilled. One who is communicating the idea, he must have to know that how the facts are to be presented. And you know that it should be palatable. Means one it should be tasty. The channel of communication should be constantly kept open also. And what information you are sending, that should be the authentic information. No false and fabricated message you are going to send. And you will all know that communication is definitely a process. The sender find sender. Sender is there, encoding is there, media is there. Media is nothing but the message, decoding is there, receiver should be there. Receiver will have the response and also the feedback. Then everything will go to again to the sender. It will just like message is there, decoding also going to be done by the receiver. Then the receiver will also give the response. Then you will have to get the feedback, and again it will go to the sender. Then it is just like a cycle. Then let us come to know who is the sender. Sender is nothing but the source of information, and he is the initiator of the communication. The source makes the decision what to be communicated. The source also decides the purpose of communicating the information, persuasion, or entertainment. In what sense he is going to communicate the message. In the classroom, the teacher is to be considered the sender, and he is the initiator, and he can initiate the message. But while initiating, there should be the encoding. And you know that when we are concerned with the encoding, then definitely we'll have to use this process through which the message initiated by the sender is converted into communication. I want to provide some sort of the message to the others. Then I will have to encode it in my form. How I can able to communicate it? I will have to convert the message. It may be in terms of symbols, or it may be in the terms of the words. It may be in the terms of the pictures or gestures, whatever it may be. Encoding depending upon the sender. Suppose when we are getting the information through multimedia, then definitely what type of the knowledge and informations are in the books, then the teacher will communicate it in the simplest format. He may use the blackboard, he may use the different type of the teaching aids, or he can also draw the pictures on the blackboard. Then he knows how to encode the message. Then the message is ready. And the message is nothing but the information which is being to be communicated. Means the abstract of the message will be communicated. The subject matter, what are required for the receiver, it should be communicated. And it is in the form of the physical gestures, ideas, opinion, views, and suggestions, whatever it may be. Suppose you are lecturing, then your presentation style will be different. Your use of teaching aids is also different. And your suggestions will also differ from person to person. But you will have to take the channel. Channel is nothing but a means, the pathways or the devices through which the message will be communicated. Two dimensions are there. One is sender and another is receiver. The message will have to communicate. Channel may be the verbal or non-verbal. That you know that you can use the telephone, you can use the radio, video, print media, whatever it may be. Or you can have the face-to-face interaction. Then next is decoding. Decoding means decoding is the process through which the symbols in the message sent are translated into the form that can be understood by the receiver. Whatever the messages you have already sent, you are encoding it, but receiver will decode it. In what sense he understood the subject matter, then he can also decode the message, and automatically in layman's language he can able to express it. It depends upon his past experiences, the perception, the thoughts and feelings. After the decoding, the receiver is there. The receiver is the person who the symbols are transmitted. So definitely in educational setting, the students are the receivers generally finally. And they will have to respond after getting the information. They will respond through their actions and simply filling the message. They are keeping it for the future use. Then after the communication, we will give much more importance on feedback. Feedback is nothing but here the intention is continuously send the message, and while sending the message we are also getting some sort of the feedback. The feedback may be the negative or maybe the positive, and you know that positive feedback indicates that the receiver has understood the source of message. And if the receiver will explain in the negative, then we will say that the source of message is not properly understood by the receiver. So feedback is sometimes ambiguous when it is negative or positive. Then mode of communication, you know that there is oral communication. Oral communication, you know that direct interaction, that is the verbal communication. Both parties, the sender and receiver, exchange their communication through oral words. That is nothing but face-to-face interaction. Orally, you can also have conversation, and it may be through telephone, it may be through intercom. But sometimes after the oral conversation, the conversation may be for the longer period. It has also some advantages, because when someone is saying something, one is listening, there is the every possibility of clearing the doubts. So it is very easy to communicate the message. Oral communication is the easiest mode, and it is the direct and simplest one, which can have to save the time. Then it can be used to send the message to the receivers instantly, immediately. And you know that two persons can exchange their messages within the no time, and the communication will be very fast. You know that oral communication is very effective. Oral communication is an effective mode because there is the face-to-face, and we are explaining the gestural components also. Through our language, one can able to understand our emotion. Quick feedback we'll have to get. Suppose sometimes the written communication will have no quick feedback, but here there is instant feedback for the message when it is transmitted. There will be no unnecessary delays, and automatically we will get benefit out of it. But some disadvantages are there. Means if someone is saying something, then he may tell the lie. That means in the normal situation, no formal record will able to maintain in the oral conversation. So communication is definitely a good communication process, but serious matters when we are discussing, it may be misinterpreted by the others, the sender and also the receiver, because the facts cannot be verified, because no proof can be given to anybody. So definitely we can say that it is lack of authenticity, because oral communication sometimes lose the authenticity. Means oral orders or advice given by the authority are not taken into consideration, because the workers or the co-workers will not believe it. But if it will come in the form of written, then automatically everybody will accept it. So while one is saying something to the others, he is expressing in his own ways, in own terms. Sometimes there will be the deviation. So oral communication is always sometimes spontaneous, but oral communication is not spontaneous if the message is lengthy, because when it is going to be conveyed to the others, that in it cannot have the effective impact. But on the contrary, the written communication always provided in the organization in the form of circulars, instructions, letters, manuals, and notes, bulletins, or magazines, in terms of magazines or reports, whatever it may be, in the written form. And when you will get any information in the written form, then you are interested to keep it with you. And when you are keeping it for a longer period, then it will become a permanent record. So definitely it provides proof or permanency of the records for future reference. Another thing is there, it is very authentic by nature. Written things are always taken more seriously by the people than oral. And sometimes we say that written communication is now very fast, because what notification is given today, it will also reach to the person concerned today also. That written communication previously were sent by post, it takes 7 to 8 days. But now to send the message, the written document in the form of the PDF through email, fax, telecast, or WhatsApp, it can reach the person concerned on the said day. But there is also the lack of disadvantages. What disadvantages? Suppose a circular is going against anybody. If there will be the e-dispatch, then everybody will able to know it. If the good message will come, then everybody will have to know it. You know, regarding the cyber crimes, no confidentiality will be maintained. It can be decoded by the cyber crimers, because whatever you are giving in the internet, these are all kept with themselves. Always we are saying that online is always very much beneficial for us. But whatever the photos, whatever the messages you are loading in the WhatsApp or Facebook, Instagram, whatever it may be, they are giving you the scope. For what? They can also get the benefit utilizing your photos, your videos, and everything, because you are getting it free of cost, but they are gaining the maximum benefit out of it. So sometimes when you are giving the written document, then it is very costly, because oral communication is nothing but only conversation. But here we'll have to print the document, because for printing we need cost. But in case of the organizational setup, written document is very formal means, and you know that we will not able to avoid all these things. Non-verbal communication, you know that non-verbal communication means you see the facial expressions. Suppose if you have the interest, then automatically you are having the excitement. If you are in enjoyment, then you can show the joy. If you have surprise, then you can able to give surprise to the others. If you are distressed, there will be some sort of the anguishness with you, that mental pain that can be known to others. If you are the fear, then automatically there will be the terror. If you will feel same, then the humiliation will also can be marked. You contempt, then automatically you will be disgust. If you will anger, there will be the rage, a feeling of violence. If you will angry, you will becomes violent if anybody will say something. But nights refers to the study of the gestures, facial expression, and other movements of the body, which is also the medium of the communication. You know that eyes are the most expressive components of the facial expression, that is non-verbal. If you can see the eyes of the others, you can able to understand what that person is saying something. A smile, a gaze, or a provocative eye reaction you will have to observe. A smile can indicate that you are happy. A gaze indicates that you are observing something. A provocative eye always interested that he will have to provocate you to agitate, to react. These are all the various forms of the nonverbal communication. And there is the difference with formal communication and informal communication. Formal communication based on formal organizational relationship. It is based on personal relationship. That is the social interaction that is among the employees. Formal is always prescribed and it depends upon the individual relationship. Formal is always rigid and deviations are not allowed. But informal is quite flexible because nothing is prescribed there. The speed of the message of the formal is very slow, but non-formal is very fast. Sending the message is very fast in case of the informal, but in case of the formal, the speed of the machine is very formal. It will go very slowly. And status or position of the members is very important. Informal status or position has no relevance at all in case of the informal. Informal has very little chance of message distortion. Means no chance. Little chance means no chance. But here, informal communication distorted means it has no relevance at all. It is treated as authentic record, authentic channel. It is not treated as authentic channel. So definitely we'll have to go formal channels of the communication. Formal channels of the communication may be one is single chain. Single chain communication channel is very example of the bureaucratic setup. It comes from the above bureaucratic tendency. They will issue the circular and everybody will accept it. Wheel network, the superior in this case acts as the hub of the wheel and all the subordinates are under one superior and all will sit in the table and they can also communicate their thoughts and feelings because the superior is the boss. One is superior, you will have to communicate to the others. Circle, circular network. Circular network is found in autonomous group because where the members of the group interact and the group may have the formal leader, but interaction is lateral among the members. It can adjourn the meeting sometime. That is autonomous. Lately, they will have to discuss. Free flow network is there because you know that this type of the communication is found in task force where each of the members can communicate freely with others. Suppose a task force is there, they will have to work together. They can exchange the idea with themselves. that is the free flow. The free flow of the network is there. Freely they can communicate the message with themselves. Inverted V, that is one type of communication, and subordinate is allowed to communicate with immediate superior. That subordinate is also allowed to say something to the superior, where the matter communication is prescribed manner. So definitely we can say that informal communication, it is a very good way to promote good human relationship, and one is single strand. You know that here the meaning of the strand is a single way to support. Means in a single strand network, means somebody will give us, somebody will be there to help us. Communication, that is very intervening person should be there. We can say that a single thin of piece of thread will help us. A wire can help us. A hair can help us. We can take the help informally by anyone. Gossip is there. Gossip is also one type of network. We are talking very informal way in any matter. We are communicating each other. Everyone will participate. That is one type of gossiping. Probability. Communication is random. Somebodies are indifferent and somebodies are not indifferent. This network is usually used when the information is not very significant. That some probability is there. Somebody will participate, some may not be participated. Cluster, you know that it is one type of chain. A person communicates the information only through whom he trusts, to whom he believes. Then automatically he will have to select the individual, and researches are also going on how it will become more popular. Then automatically the direction of the communication is also we'll have to fix. One is downward communication. Downward communication means the message flows from the superior downward. Upward communication means from the lower hierarchy it will increase, from lower to higher. We'll have to consider the lower people. Lateral means you know that same level we'll have to maintain, not lower. Information will come from the lower or not come from the downward. There will be a lateral communication, means communication may involve decision making. It can develop the efficiency of the employees, and we must have to take the approval of the authority. Next, we'll have to go to another unit. Unit 14, effective communication approaches. Namaskar, sir. Effective communication approaches. You know that communication is definitely a process through which we can able to transmit the message to others, and it may be the verbal or it may be the inverbal, but effective communication is nothing but it will provide the information, examples, and exercises to others in the effective way, that after getting the information, they can behave in the effective manner. So effective communication approaches will provide you the information, examples, and exercises that will make you more effective, because you want to communicate the message and information to the others. So definitely this unit will focus on the total range of the communication setting. It may be the professional or it may be the personal. It will help to provide practical approaches to develop the effective communication skills, and that are very crucial because we want success in the communication. A.L. Barker defines communication as a process in which interrelated, interdependent groups of elements work together to achieve a desired outcome or goal. You know that communication is definitely a process, and it is interrelated. Why? It is interdependent. Why? Because always we are finding the groups, and each and every groups are in the organization. They must have to fulfill the aims and objectives. They desire to achieve certain desired outcomes. So definitely the communication process should be more effective, because communication will empower the members, and communication is considered as a process definitely, and it is also dynamic, ever changing, and unending, and it is the transmission through verbal and non-verbal process. So we can pass on a message, we can impart the new knowledge, we can share the feelings of ourselves. So definitely here the communication means act of imparting and how we are interacting in the society. So communication, we say that it is nothing but the transfer of ideas or information. And the approaches of the communication, you know that it is always very constructive, and it builds up the morale of the receiver, because you know that if communicator has no honest, no morality, then automatically it will not communicate properly. It builds positive relationship and develops the team spirit. And there should be, he should have to build the bridge. Bridge means two halves are there. Senders are there, receivers are there. You must have to make one wall or join the two halves. It will be possible through meeting and discussion. How you will build the rapport? Rapport always facilitates communication, and it is nothing but the interaction, very confidential. And when the rapport is essential, then we can build the good contact among ourselves, and the interaction will be very confidential. Then another point is avoid labeling. Labeling is the form of the creating prejudice towards the somebody. For example, if a person is labeled as troubleshooter, if we will consider the person is a troubleshooter, then you are to interact with that person, then you can able to invite the troubles. Similarly, if you will say that somebody is to be considered as trustworthy, then you can develop the confidence on him, and you can able to also deal more effectively, confidentially with that person. But how to exhibit understanding and cooperative behavior among the team members? Number one is create trust in others. That you know that faith and confidence in somebody creates the trust and the feeling that you can rely on them. And dependence will be there without any hitch, without any disturbances. So if you will create trust among others, there will be the faith, there will be the confidence. And automatically the people will rely on you. Create commonality, commonness. Commonness is what? That always we are developing the friendship. If you have the common attitudes, common trends, if some commonality is there, then automatically we'll feel very comfortable and we can communicate the thoughts and feelings in the recent manner. Sometimes we'll have to customize our communication. You might have seen salesperson that trying to convince us any manner to sell their products. Similarly, you will develop or you will try your best to make anyone convinced what you are going to message, what you are going to send an idea. To gain respect, there are three important things are there. Create credibility for yourself that you deserve the prestige and develop your gesture and always provide some constructive comment. If you will give some constructive comments, then everybody will accept you. So first, you must have to develop your credibility. You must have to develop your gesture and look, and always you will provide the constructive comments through your conversation. No negative comments you will have to give. Get to the level of readiness that interact according to the level of the receiver. That suppose you know more, if the students are the less capacity to understand, then you should come down at the level of the student and you will teach accordingly so that your teaching will be much more beneficial. So interact according to the level of the receiver and try to cope with the conversation. Next is carefully follow the intent and interpretation. And you know that sometimes something is happening. You intend communicate something, but other persons interrupt it in the different manner. Suppose you are interested to give one message, but some buddies are there, they are not interested that you will have to send the message or your message will be accepted. Then very simple formula you will have to apply, that is KISS formula. KISS. KISS means keep it short and simple. Keep it short and simple. And if anybody is misinterpreting your message, if misinterpretation occurs, try to clarify it as soon as possible in the simplest manner. That formula is very much helpful for us for better communication. That is, keep it short and simple and apply all skills. Here, all means A means X, L means look, and another is listen. X means while you are having the discussion, you are communicating the message. At that time, asking question is very general, but your conversation, your interaction will be live if you will ask such question. Then while interacting among yourself, there should be the question answer. But another thing is your look. Even without speaking a single word, a person can speak a lot. Suppose you know that while you are interacting with others, others are also keeping in mind your views. They are looking at you, and when they are looking at you, they can understanding what you are going to speak. Then next is listen. Listening is very important part of the interpersonal communication. Suppose you will feel among yourself that some of your friends, while they are communicating the ideas, one will speak more. He will not or she will not allow anybody to talk. And others, when they are interested to talk, they are also suppressed by the talker. Then there will be no communication in the better manner. But sometimes we will have to ask the questions, we'll have to a better look, and we'll have to listen carefully. Listening carefully means someone is trying its best to understand because she or he is carefully listening what others are saying. And when you will look at that person that he listens, then automatically, definitely he is trying to able to understand what you are speaking. So it signifies the feeling of concentration, signifies the feeling of connectedness with you because his look will also indicate that how he is receiving your ideas or your information. So definitely I can say you that in the lastly the communication is to be considered the most important skill in our life. And for better communication, we must have the storage of the information. And we must have to learn the different types of the words, appropriate words, where we'll have to use. Always try to use the parliamentary words, which will not hurt others. Very simple you will have to use to make you understand. Otherwise, you will not able to feel comfort. So effective communication approach is always ready to provide information. And you know that some sort of the examples you will have to give, some sort of the exercises you will have to practice. And if you will do all these things, then it will be more effective. It will be more interesting. So effective communication approaches have provided the information, examples and exercises that make the communication more effective. And communication should be very dynamic and it can able to transmit the information from one source to another, from sender to the receiver. So essential components of the communication are always concentrated with the source. The source means one who is encoding the message is there and channel is there and also the receiver or decoder is there. And decoder or the receiver will give you the feedback. But while providing the feedbacks, you will have to face the different barriers. Automatically, the barriers you will have to avoid. Then the communication will be more effective. And communication is very reciprocal. Means you know that I will have to say something to you. I will have to exchange the idea with you. Why there will be the exchange? If you will not say anything, only communication is one-sided, then automatically it is not acceptable. It should be the reciprocal by nature. Then every individual needs to practice the communicating, which will be more effective. And communication is always depending upon your skills. And if you will have to develop the skills among yourself, how to talk, how to present the subject matter to the others, maybe the verbal, maybe the non-verbal, it may be the pictures, diagrams, whatever it may be, then that skill will also very much important, not only for you, but also for them who are going to receive your message. So there is a saying that practice makes man perfect, and without practice, no individual can learn the art of communication skills. Suppose you will hesitate to participate in debate, then you cannot speak. You have the interest in singing, you will have to participate in the song competitions. You are having the attitudes for the dance, then you can able to take the participation in the dance program. So automatically practice makes one perfect. And if you will have to develop certain skills, that is the communication skills, then your communication process will be more effective and more dynamic, and we can achieve success in our life. Thank you all for participation, and I am very much thankful to IGNO that IGNO has given me the opportunity to share something with the students, and thank you all. Okay.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Sir, thank you, sir. Sir, namaskar.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Sir,
you, sir.
namaskar.
थैंक यू नमस्ते.
Sir, namaskar.
अरे ओडिया पिला समझते ना. अरे नमस्ते.
Sir, I know.
ओडिया पिला सब ना.
Sir, no. ओडिया
हेलो.
Sir, namaskar. Sir,
ଆଜ୍ଞା
namaskar.
ସାର୍
ମୁଁ ଅଜୟ କହୁଛି.
ଅଜୟ ମୁଁ
ନମସ୍କାର
ଜାଣିଲି ଯେ.
ଅଜୟ କହୁଛି
ହଁ 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 ଅଜୟ ତତେ ବହୁତ ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ.
sir, thank you so much that after retirement you have sparing some time for IGNO and share the knowledge before our learners. Sir, thank you, sir, very much.
Okay, I am very much thankful IGNO and also you. Special thanks to Dr. Ajay Swai, my
ନାଇଁ
favorite
ସାର୍
student,
ନାଇଁ
and he is
ଆମର
very
ଛାତ୍ର
dynamic. And also I will say that he will have to go ahead, because we will be proud when our students will have to take the high position. Thank you.
ସାର୍ 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 ସାର୍
Namaskar.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Raj.
Thank you, all learners.
Thank you so much, sir.